Our panel, Rena Shaw, is a political strategist and commentator. She's here in the studio with me. This kind of sentiment that people have about congressional action. I know you were on Capitol Hill today. I mean, you hear a young woman like we heard from Providence, Rhode Island. She said this shooting in her youth shattered her youth. And America is the only place in the world, she says, where gun violence is accepted. It's just a fact of life. Are we seeing a generational crisis?
Without a doubt, we're seeing gun violence become part and parcel of American life and touching millions of families. Beyond the emotional toll, what we're also seeing is inaction at almost every level. This incident at Brown University underscores the persistent vulnerabilities that our educational institutions face to gun violence. Where are we supposed to keep Americans safe? Not in grocery stores, not in churches, not in colleges during final exam review sessions. So what are our lawmakers going to do in response? We haven't quite got that, particularly from the Republican side. Let me just say this. Politically speaking, I believe the greatest challenge is that this incident, which is the 391st mass shooting in the U.S., it's astonishing to think of that number, and that's per the Gun Violence Archive. What it's doing, it's forcing a renewed scrutiny on gun policy amidst this sort of renewed polarized views I'm seeing within MAGA and within normal Republican voters on Second Amendment rights. They're saying these are our rights under the Second Amendment. They just cannot be violated. But what about public safety? We remain in that gap constantly, and it seems like we cannot get out of there. But now, with over 75 school shootings just in this year, 2025, here we sit in December, it's clear to me that without broader federal action, yes, from this town, with things like common sense measures, I'm talking universal background checks at a minimum, we are going to continue to face this preventable threat in American life. And it is a nonpartisan issue. But we have one party continually making an issue of it and letting us remain in that gap, as I mentioned. Like I said, the greatest challenge here lies in our ongoing debate. But Australia took an evidence-based approach, as my co-panelist just said. And that evidence-based approach has shown that robust regulations can dramatically curb gun violence while still preserving lawful ownership. So, like you just said, I was on Capitol Hill. And I think what all of us Americans do can offer this compelling international benchmark for policymakers here.
This has become sort of a black eye for the Trump administration. I mean, you look at Latinos, the numbers are dropping. A lot of them are saying they're increasingly critical of his job performance when it comes to the economy and also immigration. What's going to be the impact, do you think, on midterm elections, and are Republicans nervous about this?
If this continues, no doubt Republicans will pay a price at the ballot box, because when you see the backlash coming from your own voters, then you know you've got a problem. And what I'm seeing right now, look, in Minnesota, I think, as the nation has heard, this is a case. Operation Metro Surge is what they've done in the Twin Cities there. You've got the Somali American population. The largest in the nation is there, something like 80,000 people. These are, the majority of these are citizens or legal residents who are totally integral to that state's economy and culture. So that matters. Now, are they all Republicans? Are they all Democrats? I don't know. But what I know is this, is that in these recent ICE actions, what has, again, been dubbed as this is about Social Security fraud or social services, any kind of social services, you're seeing the juxtaposition of two things here. How that tough border that even many legal immigrants want, and then you're seeing how to keep immigrant communities thriving and not alienating them, particularly in non-border states. So I find that debate to be the hottest one in the Republican Party right now. It's one where you have moderate Republicans saying we need compassionate conservatism to come back. But I say this, while enforcement is completely necessary for the rule of law, the rhetoric and the raids that the Trump administration is doing and that Secretary Kristi Noem is heading up, they're heightening tensions and fear. That's a bad thing overall, every time you get toward the midterms. So what they ought to do, this administration, is balance reform by prioritizing securing borders and also recognizing that immigrant communities give so much, particularly legal immigrants. And you can do that while upholding humanitarian principles. I know that's possible, and I hear that from the mouths of Republicans.
I want to thank our panelists. It's been a great discussion, and that's going to do it for this edition of The Heat. I'm Mike Walter in Washington.